Scouters and scout families, I know that we can't all be at camp today, and I know that a lot of us wish we could be, but usually part of the camp magic for me is the astronomy hike every year. And I know that that's part of the camp magic for a lot of you too, so I want to be able to experience that, and I want you to be able to experience that uh, as much as we can while we're all at our homes. So we're going to be talking about some constellations, briefly go over some lore from some constellations, and talk about some other features of the night sky. Hopefully, you and your families can go outside and explore the night sky, and hopefully, you can reclaim a little bit of that camp magic. A good place to start out in the sky is always going to be the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper. Located fairly close to each other in the sky, they're both gigantic trapezoids with trails of 3 stars behind them each that form kind of a ladle to the Big Dipper, or spoon. We're going to be coming back to those and adding a bit more context and a bit more lore to them later, but those are some good starting off points. Next, we can go into astrological signs or horoscopes. There are a ton of them scattered throughout the night sky, and I know that in where you probably are, probably Ohio, or somewhere else in the northern hemisphere, you're going to be seeing a lot of these in your summer night sky. For instance, Draco should be right up there. Same with Scorpio. You might be able to catch a glimpse of Gemini, and if you're really lucky, over the horizon, you might be able to see Leo. Draco should be really, really high in the night sky for you, not close to the horizon at all. At least his head should be. He'll be square-like shape, much smaller than the spoon part of the Big Dipper, but his body snakes its way throughout the entire night sky, and it ends up being one of the biggest constellations. I always find it really hard to follow. I always find the head and go, "Oh, that's Draco," but it's hard to find the rest of that. Maybe that's a challenge for you and your family at home to try and actually find all of Draco's tail snaking its way through the night sky. Draco is obviously meant to represent a dragon. And then you've got a scorpion represented by Scorpio, who should be closer to the horizon line. He has 2 arms, a body, and a hook-like tail. Leo might be visible, but it's a gigantic head of a lion. And you might be able to catch the twins, Gemini. 2 straight lines connected arm in arm. 2 brothers or sisters, or brother and sister, 2 twins. Finally, I'm going to get into Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia you should be able to see in the summer sky in the northern hemisphere. It's a gigantic W, but in Greek legend and Greek lore, it's actually meant to represent a queen named Cassiopeia, who was the wife of a king, if I remember right, named Cerberus. She was very vain, and the god of the oceans, Poseidon, did not like that at all. He cast her off into the sky and forced her to be a constellation and live as a constellation. And because of her vanity, he forced her to be upside down for half the year. So sometimes she'll be a gigantic W in the sky, and sometimes she'll be a gigantic M. Lastly, we're going to go back to the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper, or as I should say, Ursa Major and Ursa Minor. Ursa meaning bear. If you add a little bit more to their shape, add a little bit more to their form, you'll find that the spoon part of the Big Dipper is actually just 1/2 of the body of a gigantic bear who walks across the entire night sky. He has 2 legs, and the ladle of what would be the spoon ends up being his tail. Or in some interpretations, instead of a tail, 3 separate hunters, 1 for each star, trailing him throughout the night sky, trying to hunt him down. I hope you all had some fun finding some constellations in the night sky. I hope you were able to reclaim some of that Chief Logan magic. I hope to show you more constellations next year in 2021. Yeah, nature.